I don't know. This is just a terrible intro already.
No, I
Keep
didn't
it
have a.
going.
I'm making sure that you know that it's alive though. Still live. Uh,
Appreciate that.
Florida State's. I mean, what do you want me to be happy? Florida State lost 76-65 to Georgia Tech. First loss to Georgia Tech since 2017. Florida State is now 10-3. Yellow Jackets now 8-5. Raquan Gray leads the game in 19 points. We talked about this on Thursday night that this was going to be a tough game for Florida State. Georgia Tech
Yeah,
has kept it close with multiple teams throughout the year, but Florida State falls.
yeah. Even though Georgia Tech came in losing two straight, led most of the way against Virginia and just fell apart in the last 2 minutes. Duke was back and forth all game. Really, the main difference was the end of the first half between this game and the last two games for Georgia Tech. In the last couple games, they fell apart in those last 2 minutes. In this game, they were able to extend their lead to 6-7. Um, and that made a huge difference in this game. Florida State looks sloppy offensively. 20 turnovers, which is horrible. Worst of the season so far. Couldn't hit a three, and they were shooting threes the wrong way. This team's really great. It's a really great shooting team, but when you're not driving and kicking to get those open looks, it means nothing. They were just forcing threes up when they didn't need to be forced. They weren't creating other opportunities for other people. Like there were so many times where they just drive into the middle. Georgia Tech would squeeze the paint, and they have five guys touching the paint, and Florida State would still just throw up a tough floater. You can't do that against this Georgia Tech team. They're the worst 3-point defense in the nation, or not in the nation, in the conference. You got to be able to drive and kick, and Florida State just didn't do that all game, and that's a huge reason why they lost today.
Yeah, and I mean, really, it just seemed from the get go that Georgia Tech's wonky kind of defensive style really just took Florida State out of their rhythm, and they could never get back into it. I mean, Raquan Gray had 4 turnovers in the first half. He was one of the few guys who really picked up his play in the second half, where he had 17 points, and he was the primary option on offense for Florida State. Even be able to keep this game close. I mean, they still ended up losing by 11, despite his big burst in the second half. But I mean, just from the outset, you could tell that Florida State wasn't in their rhythm, and these kind of games happen. It's the ACC. This is a good basketball conference, no matter what the standings say. And I think Florida State's going to get it back together. I mean, they're just going to have to go over the film and talk to each other and figure out what went wrong here today and regroup for Tuesday.
There was a lot of lack of focus. Like there were so many times where they'd try and get a rebound and it bounce off a hand, or same thing with the pass. It would just be a foot behind, and the guy wouldn't catch with the two hands. There's a lot of that, and you're just looking at it going, "Come on, guys, what are we doing here? Just focus, dig in, and you'll win this game." And just time after time, they'd make a little mini run. Georgia Tech would go down and get a foul call. That was the biggest thing. Florida State couldn't get in a rhythm because there were so many foul calls. I think there ended up being 39 total fouls. That sucks. It sucks to watch. It sucks to play in. Florida State's a huge momentum team. When they're going up and down, that's when they're at their best. When it's a game like this where there's a foul call every minute, essentially, it sucks. It sucks to watch and it sucks to play in. Is that an excuse? Not really, but it does matter for a team like this that wants their rhythm, just going after it each minute. They can't have these constant pauses. That's why Georgia Tech was able to have two guys that played all 40 minutes. It's because every single minute they're getting a breather because there's a foul call and they're shooting free throws. It's so dumb. I hate this conference. I hate it.
And like you said, 39 total fouls called today, 34 total turnovers combined between the two teams. A combined 10 of 38 from 3-point territory between Georgia Tech and Florida State. So, I mean, this game was just an ugly scrap fest, and Georgia Tech was able to throw enough blows and force enough turnovers to come out on top in the end. And it especially hurt that MJ Walker fouled out with about 7 minutes left in the ball game, and Florida State didn't really have anyone else to go to besides Raquan Gray down the stretch.
Yeah, I would have liked to see Calhoun get some more minutes there at the end. I know he got a couple, but when Walker goes out, you need someone that can create both off the dribble and from three. And I think Calhoun's the perfect guy for that. When you lose Walker, you're losing so much offensively. Even though he wasn't great today, he's still a threat, and I think Calhoun's the next closest to what he provides. And then when you're also missing a guy like Anthony Polite, that's automatic from three. and as a sturdy defender that you can stick on Jose Alvarado when he has 21 points, that's a big loss, and Florida State's going to need Polite back sooner than later. But I mean, you look at the stats; it's not even that different. Florida State shot 43% to Georgia Tech's 44. 3-point field goal percentage was 21 to 29%. Turnovers, yeah, Florida State had 20, but Georgia Tech had 14. Georgia Tech was just able to take more advantage off those turnovers, beating us in points off turnovers 22 to 12. Everything else is pretty even. Points in the paint 36 to 30, fast break points 20 to 19, even steals 9 to 13. That's not a huge difference. Rebounds 37 to 31. Georgia Tech was just able to get more opportunities in transition and make them count. And it just speaks to their effort. Florida State was lackadaisical, especially in the first half. Really, really slow. Didn't have much energy. Whereas Jose Alvarado was playing at 200 miles an hour. I wanted to punch him in the face.
It's ridiculous.
He's so annoying. It was really just a lack of energy from Florida State from the start, and that killed him.
Yeah, I agree because, like you said earlier, Georgia Tech had two guys play 40 minutes, and another guy play 38. A fourth play 32, and a fifth play 30. And at the end of the game, I mean, those guys looked completely energized. They didn't look fatigued at all. And then, like you said, you look over at the Florida State side, and they're out of focus, lackadaisical effort. Guys aren't making the extra plays to win the game. And Georgia Tech's plain and simple. Today, they wanted this one more than Florida State.
I will say if they play us in the ACC tournament, they're going to regret showboating at the end with those dunks and Alvarado pointing at the camera. That they're going to regret that if we play them in Greensboro.
That was cute.
Turk played 35 minutes, which is insane for Florida State to play more than 31 minutes, especially a guy like him who's still working down his body weight to play 35 minutes. It's insane. I don't think anyone else played more than 28 off the top of my head. Yeah, no one played more than 27.
Yep.
You got to find someone that can give him a little bit of breather. I think Malik's been really good these last few games. It says he played 21 minutes. It felt like he played 6. You got to give Turk a little bit of a break. He was playing 5 for a lot of this game, playing at the center, playing against Moses Wright, which on offense that's a huge mismatch for Turk. Because he's able to take right off the dribble. As athletic as Moses Wright is, he can't keep up with Turk. But you still have to give him a little bit of a breather so he can be more effective, especially on defense.
There's a question. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say there's a question on here from Twitter, and they're asking you guys to talk about the no goaltending call.
I'd rather not because I don't want to punch the wall next to me.
It was definitely a goaltend.
Absolutely. And then they confounded it by calling that blocking foul on MJ on the other end, which was horrible. MJ was in a great spot. They were out of bounds, first of all, and they called a blocking foul. The officiating on blocking / charges was horrible. Like the one they got him Malik with like 3 minutes left. Terrible. Like what else do you want Malik to do? He's standing straight up and the offensive player initiated contact. The goaltend absolutely should have been called. It ended up not costing Florida State too much, but it's essentially a 4-point swing in a time where Florida State really needed a 4-point swing, just in the other direction. It was such a bad call. There was a lot of bad calls in this game. The first few minutes were great because you're like, oh, the refs were really letting them play. They're really letting them go at it, be physical, throw each other around. I like those kind of games as long as they're not calling fouls. Then with like 10 minutes left in the first half, they're like, oh, yeah, that's a foul. Let's start calling that on Florida State now. Mm-hmm. And it was just like that the rest of the way.
Yeah, and, speaking about the foul trouble a little bit for Florida State, early on in the game, also Koprivica got out to a terrific start on the boards. I think he had 5 rebounds in the first 6 minutes or so. And then he got into foul trouble and really could only play in short stints the rest of the game. And I think at one point he came back in the second half, instantly picked up a foul and had to go right back out. He ended the game with 4 fouls in 17 minutes. But, after that first 6 minutes, he only got 1 rebound the rest of the game. So I would have been really interested to see if he wasn't in foul trouble, just how big of an impact he would have had today for Florida State inside.
Yeah, I agree because he's been as great as anyone these last few games, just dominating both ends of the floor, dominating the paint. being able to switch out on the perimeter and not lose anything is huge for someone that's 7'1", 240, 250.
Hmm.
He's been phenomenal, and even the announcers give him a lot of praise. And like you said, when he has 5 rebounds in such a short stretch, he was a demanding presence. And then he gets in foul trouble on ticky-tacky stuff, and it's frustrating. Like the one foul with, I want to say it was 10, 12 minutes left, somewhere in that range, where Koprivica blocks it from behind. They originally called the foul on Gray. They look at the replay and
Oh
say,
my, yeah.
they look at the replay and say, "Oh yeah, Balsa touched him," when I don't think either player even touched him. It's time. I mentioned this on Twitter. It's time to give college coaches a replay like they do in the NBA, because in the NBA it's been really beneficial. They're quick with the replays. Most of the time it gets overturned because these refs don't have egos. At least in the NBA, college they do. I think it's time that refs do get, or that coaches do get their replays, and I think it'd be necessary in a game like this, because not only do you change the outcome of that play, you get Koprivica from not getting his 4th foul. And I think that was huge in that point in the game because they literally just subbed him back in.
Yeah, I mean, you saw it in the aftermath of that sequence. You know, the whole team was pretty upset with the call, and Scotty actually pointed up at the video board and was like, "Watch the replay."
And the refs told him
And
not
yeah,
to.
yeah, the ref was like, "Quit pointing up there."
Like, come on, man. It's bad. It's so bad. I hate this conference. I'm going to say that 10 times before this podcast is over. I hate this conference.
There was someone else on Twitter here that tweeted us saying, this is from CF Seminole, saying, "Why didn't we foul at the end? At 2 minutes, we should have started fouling, but we didn't even foul at the 1 minute mark. Was the bus outside blowing the horn?"
I mean, when you're down 10 to 12, it's like, I mean, you can. How much longer do you really want to play this game? I mean, if it's a 4, 5, 6 point game, yeah, absolutely. Start playing the foul game against a team that's not great shooting the free throws. But when you're down 10, 12, 14, 11, whatever the score is, when you're a minute, 30 seconds, it's not really worth it. Just pack it up, move on to the next one, get refocused for Boston College. I know people are going to think of the freaking Michigan game when
I
they
was
did
gonna
foul.
bring up.
That was a completely different situation that Coach Hamilton handled badly afterwards because he just didn't want to put blame on the players. It's a completely different situation. They were telling him the foul, they just didn't hear him. That's all it was in the Michigan game a few years ago. This game, you're down 12. Don't extend the game more than you have to.
No, and you know, I completely agree with that point because at the end of the day, it's going to be very hard to get back into a game with 1 minute left, down by 10 to 12 points, fouling and putting, you know, your opponent at the free throw line, giving them the opportunity to get 2 every possession, and then having to make enough shots of your own or force turnovers to get back into it. So, very tough scenario to overcome. And yeah, it's better for Florida State, like you said, just to regroup and start to focus on uh, annihilating Boston College.
Plus, we couldn't even get the rebound on free throws. Like we saw that one where right before MJ Walker fouled out, where you just slapped the ball out of bounds instead of grabbing it.
Yeah, but
I mean,
four Florida State players right there.
like when that stuff happens, you don't exactly have much faith that you can make a comeback in a minute and 10 seconds.
Let's see. I'm trying to see if we're missing anything else. Mendoza, who's always in here, was asking they were talking about they were holding them scoreless there towards the end, but couldn't score. I would have liked to see more drives from Scotty. I also asked, what conference would you like to see FSU in?
I literally don't even care. Put us in the Big South. I don't care. Put us in the Atlantic Sun. Put us in the A10. I do not care as long as it's not the ACC. This conference is so bad officiating. It's embarrassing. But to his point about Scotty, I wish Scotty Barnes was more aggressive. We keep saying this every game. When Scotty Barnes is playing at 100% effort, he's unstoppable. When he has his mind on getting to the basket because the guy in front of him is not going to stop him, he's literally unstoppable. And I wish he would just keep attacking, force the defense to react to him instead of him react to the defense, if that makes sense to the people listening. It would change how Florida State plays so much, and it would open up the offense so much in a game like this where Georgia Tech said, hey, we're going to put 5 guys in the paint every time you get the ball inside. Good luck.
I just wondered today if, you know, maybe his aggressiveness could have been impacted by that hand injury it looked like he suffered shortly
Yeah.
after he checked in for the first time today. He had a block, and then as soon as he blocked the shot, he grabbed his hand, went over the sideline, went out, and I think Tanner Nome came into the game. So yeah, I just wonder, if that affected him at all.
Oh yeah, for sure. Um, and he may not even be still 100% from his ankle injury. We don't exactly know. You would think he's 100% by now with the ankle, but yeah, for sure the hand had something to do with it. Still like to see him be aggressive. Like if you're going to be on the floor for Florida State, you got to show effort. And there's a couple times with Scotty when he's a little lazy rotating on defense or coming off of a press break, when they're both trying to trap and he's going to go back to his man, he kind of gets over there a little bit too slow. There are things like that. It's going to happen. You have to just grow out of it, move on, get to the next game, and come out with 100% effort. Um, in the second half, I will say this. Every time Florida State started making a run, and I know I mentioned a little bit how they would get to the free throw line. Georgia Tech kept running the same action. Um, the announcers were calling it a Princeton action. There's a few things you can call it. They would do a horn set with the two guys on the high post. They would go right on the pick. Guy would roll, and it either opened up a 3-point shot on the left lane line extended, or it opened up a lob. And for the 3 or 4 straight plays, Florida State just didn't know what to do with it. And when Florida State switches everything, these kind of things should be stopped, and they weren't. And part of that's just effort. We've talked about it enough, how the effort just wasn't there today, and that was a huge example of it. They ran the same play 4 straight times on the floor and scored, I think, 3 times.
Yeah, and I mean, it really looked like Florida State let their frustrations on offense affect how they were playing on defense. And normally you don't really see that from this team. And, today you could really tell that they were starting to get a little frustrated with one another. I remember, at one point, I think Georgia Tech was heading to the free throw line after a foul. Malik Osborne huddled everyone up and said a couple extra words to Calhoun when I think he turned to like leave the huddle early. I think someone also said MJ Walker said something to Nome
Yeah,
at one
MJ and
point.
Ingam were getting into each other, and I think it was either the under 16 or under 12 timeout. They were going at each other.
Yeah, so this team was very frustrated today, to
I
say
mean,
the least.
MJ's from Atlanta. Like he wanted to come out and have a big performance, and he comes out and things aren't going the way he thinks they are. He starts getting frustrated, starts boiling over. It happens. It's an emotional game. It's an emotional group. They're human beings. It happens.
Mm-hmm.
You just got to keep those emotions contained. Sometimes, maybe things could have been handled better. Maybe not. I don't know exactly what they're mad at each other about. That's something that I'd have to go back and watch.
Hmm.
Um, it happens, especially in a game like this when things are going so poorly offensively. It happens.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I never have in all of sports. I've never had a problem with you call out your teammates, holding each other accountable. Either someone was messing up or something they weren't on the same page, but at least handle it. They'll go talk in the locker room. They'll be just fine. That's the thing about us guys. We can yell at each other. We can be pissed off. Definitely when you're in sports, you probably told a few of your guys if you played sports, you're screwing us up or something like that, and maybe cussing out, whatever. But you're gonna take care of it in the locker room, and things will be fine.
And honestly, maybe this loss comes at the best time for Florida State. They come out of that COVID break, they dominate basically they dominate all of their competition in January outside of really UNC, and they're getting on a hot streak. They're starting to feel really good. But at the same time, this team needed to face some adversity. And today, they got slapped in the mouth. And now we're going to get to see how they respond moving into the last 5 weeks or so of the regular season, getting closer to March Madness. So I don't know. I think it was good for Florida State to have a game like this and, to get knocked off the throne, per se, at this point of the season and just to get that taste of adversity and go regroup and know that every single night they can lose, but also every single night they can win. So come out and give that extra effort on Tuesday.
I think you
And
should be their hype man in the locker room, Dustin. That was great. Motivational speech right there.
It's still yet another game where the final deficit is double digits. It's the weirdest thing going on this season. We've had 2 games finish in single digits, and we're what 13 games in, 14? I don't know. I don't even know at this point.
Yeah.
It's
13, yeah.
it's so crazy. I've never seen anything like it. Um, and to your point, like Georgia Tech isn't even a bad loss. At the end of the day, this is gonna be a quadrant 1 game. If Georgia Tech keeps playing the way I think they can, and even going into today, they're 60th in the net rankings, which is very firmly in quadrant one for a road game.
Yeah, I can see them being a tournament team, no doubt.
Yeah, it's not a bad loss at all. And with with 3 of these 4 games, including this game being quadrant one games, you're expected to drop at least one of them. You're not going to win out the rest of the year. You'd rather lose the first one, get it out of your system, refocus, come back against Boston College, slap them in the mouth after they've been on a 2-week COVID pause, which we could talk about a Boston College preview. I don't think anyone wants that because really, who cares about Boston College basketball? And then after that, you refocus for Pitt and Virginia Tech next on Saturday and next Tuesday. There's still chances for this team to get quality wins. This is by no means a bad loss for every team that's saying it, or for every person that's saying it is. Please, 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 just look at some numbers. Just Google a couple things. It takes 2 seconds. This isn't a bad loss.
I think, Dustin, I need to be coming to more games with you in person. I think I might need to be sitting with you.
Y'all want to come to Virginia Tech?
Heck of a drive.
Yeah. You want to stay in a cabin together, Dustin?
All right, we're not. No.
I think it'd be great. Why not?
I'd rather sleep in my car alone.
These separate rooms, Dustin. What are you thinking here? Get your head out of the gutter. I was just saying we can go see the mountains, maybe a little snow, and maybe see our friend Austin. I haven't seen Austin in a few years.
It is snowing on the western part of North Carolina, and it is hailing outside my house right now. So you're missing out on that.
Whoa, I definitely am missing out on that. You handle that for us. Yeah, I don't know if I'll be making it up to Virginia, but I might be here watching it with you guys. When is that?
Not this Tuesday, but next Tuesday, the 9th.
Man.
Last game of the road trip.
Yep.
Yeah, that is true. I think I got to save up for my plane ticket to Indianapolis. So.
Fair enough. I mean, that's a fair point.
Oh, fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. I'm trying to see if there's any more questions here on YouTube. I got this whole new setup thing going on here. I can see who's watching and everything. No, nothing much. If y'all are watching live right now or watching to the VOD, hit that subscribe button. We're growing quickly over here. I'm loving this. Anything else on here that y'all wanted to mention? I don't see any questions on anywhere else.
Yeah, none on Twitter, none on Discord. Someone said, why didn't Barnes play most of the first half? We already talked about it a little bit. He hurt his hand. Will I get called for a foul if I ask a question on Alvarado? Because it seems to be that way with the refs. Yeah, you probably will.
That kid got everything going his way.
He's been there 6 years now, I swear. If he stays for a 7th, I'm going to be mad. I'm going to be so mad. Please leave.
Get out of here, please.
I think I remember going to a game at Georgia Tech about 2 years ago when I went on a trip to Atlanta. I don't think he had the hair like that then.
No, he had short hair.
Yeah.
He's had short hair, and then, I think after Christmas, he decided to go with the old Kihei Clark hair, and it's been working for him.
Yeah, I mean, he was on his game today, and he let Florida State know about it, to say the least.
Yeah, which, like I said, if they see us in Greensboro in March, if the tournament stays on, which, side note, I don't think conference tournaments should be played. I don't know if that's a hot take or not. I think it should just be end of the season, top 2 teams from each conference play each other for the auto bid. Is that a hot take?
Kind of like how they did with football this year.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Instead of having a whole tournament where you bring 15 teams to the same city, there's so many COVID issues there. Just play one game, best team hosts it, and go have fun. There's less COVID risk. It's more fun. Really, conference tournaments are just for money at this point.
I think Austin's getting old on us.
Be safe. Just be safe going into the NCAA tournament. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Instead, because if they want to do a conference tournament, they would have to do a mini bubble, but they don't have the timetable to do that. I think Florida State's last game was like March 6th or something like that off the top of my head. And then the very next weekend, they're right in the conference tournament. They got to establish at least a little bit of time to establish a mini bubble, in my opinion. If they're not going to do that, just take the top 2 teams and play one game.
Real quick, Mendoza asked one more question. When is Polite going to be back?
He should be back for Pitt on Saturday. Coach Ham said before Miami or after Clemson. I forget which game it was. He said he'd be out for another 1 to 2 weeks. 2 weeks would be the Pitt game. And in my opinion, you probably don't need him for Boston College. Just let him rest another game and bring him back 100% for Pitt.
Meanwhile, on the other side of things, football-wise, it seems like Nico Marchiol, whatever. I got to get his last name right, obviously, if he commits.
Marchiol.
Marchiol. See, I don't know if I can believe you.
I can't. We cannot.
It's
trust
on
him.
his
trust
dude.
you.
If you go to his Twitter, type in Nico Marchio. Go to his Twitter yesterday or on Thursday when we had our podcast. Like I told you, he literally tweeted out how to pronounce his name because I think someone got it wrong on the bench or something like that.
I would believe you, but you literally just pronounced Tanner Ingham as Tanner Gnome like 10 minutes ago. So you know.
Marchio.
All right,
How do
so
I link a tweet in this stupid Zoom? Is there a Zoom chat I can link this in?
yeah.
Oh yeah, there is.
Or you can just text it to us. You could do that too.
Oh.
I'm on my
So now I have
computer,
to
not
load
my
this.
cell phone.
Now I have to load this. All
Yeah,
right,
click on it.
I'm loading it.
It's not even let me.
Mark
click on it.
E.O. is how you pronounce it. He might have listened. Oh, maybe it was on the bench.
Marchio.
Marchio. Okay, that's easy. That's easy. But Nico Marchio, a 4-star quarterback, seems like he's trending in the direction to commit to Florida State. He tweeted earlier today that he plans on committing at noon Eastern time on his Instagram live. So he didn't really say a day when that was going to be. He just said he's going to be committing at noon.
Well, yeah, I would assume that would mean tomorrow because, on his Instagram and social media stuff, he's been tweeting stuff like commitment weekend and everything. So it would only make sense if it was noon tomorrow.
Then
Yeah.
it does seem like Florida State's the favorite because you saw the picture of Chad Ochocinco. He's wearing Florida State stuff. He had that
Been
video.
wearing a lot of Florida State stuff.
Yeah, that
recently.
video of 7-on-7. He's wearing the FSU hat. If he's going anywhere else, it's an all-time swerve.
Yeah. So could be,
Imagine how bad it would be if he was just trolling Florida State right now.
That'd be funny, honestly. I'd
I mean-
laugh.
I mean, it'd be hilarious, but Twitter would have a meltdown. Discord would
That's what-
blow up.
That's why it'd be funny.
I know. I'm always here for entertainment reasons.
Yeah, I need some.
content-
I need some entertainment after I just watched 39 fouls.
Yeah, please. I will say I was doing lights up in my house the whole time, so I didn't get to witness all those fouls. I mainly just watched straight to the last 10 minutes of the game.
I kind of envy you, sort
Yeah.
of.
Hey, got a lot of stuff done today, though. But yeah, he's coming tomorrow at noon, so we'll have full coverage on that. We already talked about him on the podcast. You guys can go listen to that if you haven't. We released that yesterday, the new podcast. But Florida State does seem to be the favorite to land the 4-star left-handy.
Yep, and worth mentioning. I think 5 days ago, Nate and myself both put in our predictions for Nico Marchio. to
Nate
Florida
put his
State.
in like September. I feel like. I think he just
Isn't that
reminded
crazy?
people, "Hey, I
Yeah,
said that in
maybe
September."
that's what he did. He reminded people of his, and then I put mine in officially.
Just another reason to really follow Nate
Yeah,
and follow us in the Discord.
you got to get in the Discord, guys. The stocks are going crazy. We have a stock chat now. It's a little quiet now that it's the weekend, but that thing has been rolling.
Yeah,
I can't-
come buy some GameStop stock
I
Yeah,
can't look
in the
at it.
Discord.
It hurts my head.
It's a lot, but they're having a fantastic time in the Discord. We got everything. We got pro sports, NBA. We have live game chats where, of course, we do Florida State sports, but we also have chats where we, like the Senior Bowl today.
Lots of recruiting stuff recently. Lots of recruiting quotes.
Lots of
especially
recruiting.
you got National Signing Day coming up.
Yeah, now that the holidays are over, we're trying out some new features on Discord and such. So definitely, you guys go jump in there. It's free to join. If you want an insider scoop and recruiting nuggets, little nuggets here and there, what's going on inside the program, basketball nuggets from Austin. Dustin's been dropping a lot of interviews before they go live to public. You guys can sign up at patreon.com/NoelGameDay. We've seen a good amount of signups the last couple of days. So you guys go join that. These guys do a fantastic job of having great basketball coverage. I don't see anybody else doing this kind of coverage like we are, and Austin's killing it. So we try to do these lives whenever we can. But you guys go listen to the last episode on Hear the Spear. Thank you guys for watching. Shout out to Mendoza. Dustin, you might know this question real quick. Malone recruitment looking good? The defensive lineman, I believe.
I wouldn't say it looking good. I mean, Florida State's in the hunt, but right now, if you ask me, I would give Ole Miss and Texas A&M the edge as we move into signing day. But we'll see if the Florida State staff can pull something off. At the midnight hour.
We'll
See
see.
what happens.
I just want it because of his name. Fantastic name.
Malone.
Right now, I don't see it happen. I think Florida State finishes with 4-star wide receiver Destin Hill, and hopefully with that other spot that they still have open right now, if they don't somehow land Malone, they're able to land an offensive tackle or some kind of other quality graduate transfer closer to May, probably.
Man, if Florida State does, obviously Hill is a huge grab. Obviously, that's already would be a good day. But if you're able to do him and Malone, that you head into the offseason with some positive vibes for sure.
Yeah, you're already feeling pretty good about Florida State's additions at this point, but that would just be really the cherry on top of the milkshake.
Mm-hmm.
And you can get one of those at Chick-fil-A on West Tennessee Street. Vanilla, chocolate, strawberry. They got all kinds of flavors. Go check it out.
They'll put anything on. I used to work at Chick-fil-A, so I used to make them all the time, and it is the hardest thing to make those and not want to eat it. Like it's just.
And you have a sweet tea milkshake.
You could try it. I would do it with vanilla, and then maybe put some sweet tea. I know me and Dustin are addicts with sweet tea. I will say Chick-fil-A sweet tea. I just never think about it, but Chick-fil-A sweet tea is good. I used to make it back there all the time. That sweet tea is delicious. It's not too.
How much sugar do you have to put in that sweet tea?
I'd have put quite a bit. Actually, ton more sugar goes into the lemonade. But it would be a ton of sugar. Mendoza says, "You guys are great. Always enjoy listening. Love the content. Keep up the great work." Sweet tea, I like that. Now we're getting a little live chat action going on here. We don't really get to have a live chat as much, but YouTube's growing. Make sure you hit that sub button. Let these guys go. Everybody enjoy y'all Saturday night. Florida State basketball has a long stretch ahead still, but loses to Georgia Tech tonight, 65-76. We will talk to you guys on Thursday night at 8:30. We have a big-time guest lined up. Big-time guest. Big time. I'm fangirling. Big-time guest. And then a big-time guest after that. And then it's just going to keep on rolling. I'm excited.
An even bigger time guest. Let's get the hype up. Even bigger time guest the week after.
I mean, it's like just keeps on
Whoa,
going.
Logan might not like that.
I mean, I let.
If he denies it, he's lying.
I will say personally, for me, of course, the next week's guest is going to be incredible. But I have a good. I mean, it's going to be. I don't want to spill it, but
don't do it.
Lowe's.
Just keep an eye on the Twitter. That's all I'll say. Keep an eye on the Twitter.
It'll be announced starting next week. We got Fisher on the graphics. He's working on it. But yeah, the guest lineup for February is looking litty fagitty. I'm excited. And we haven't had guests on in over almost 2 months, so views are gonna be jumping, baby. All right, what Austin? What's going on here? What is this?
I don't know what Dustin's doing. Sometimes it's better just not to ask.
I'm just wearing a hat. I don't wearing my NG hat.
Can it fit on your head?
No, that's why he has it over his headphones. No, it can't without the headphones anyways.
God, Jesus Christ. I think you were putting on your camera in the last ending and the intro.
I want to show the hat off.
Thank you. Finally we're on it. All right, y'all be good. Everybody enjoy y'all's evening, and we will talk to you guys on Thursday night at 8:30. Peace.